Hello and welcome back to the Pet Business Wellbeing Podcast with me, Nathan Dunleavy. This is the podcast where we talk about the realities of running a pet business, the highs, the challenges, and most importantly, how to look after your well-being whilst you do it. Because running a business should support your life, not consume it. Joe Nutkins, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
Yes, very good. A little bit sweaty. We're in a bit of a heat wave in the UK. So yeah, I'm a bit of a sweaty at the best of times, but this heat wave seems to be dragging on longer than normal.
It really is, isn't it? It really is. We had a few days of a little bit better, didn't we? But it's
Yeah.
trying to creep back up again now. So all the animals have
That's
gone,
it.
oh, no. They've just got used to it being cool and now it's getting hot again.
I know. Joe, I'm excited to chat with you. So for those listeners or viewers who may not know you yet, please could you tell us who you are and what you do, please?
Okay, so I'm Joe Nutkins. I am a Kennel Club accredited dog trainer. I'm a certified professional canine fitness trainer, amongst lots of other things to do with dogs, like tricks training and hoopers training, sports and bits and pieces like that. I've been certified professionally dog training for just over 20 years and worked with people in person and online. So I get to work with a huge amount of different people and a huge amount of different breeds, which I really love. I have got 3 dogs myself at the moment. I've got 2 Norwich Terriers, one of which is 14 and a half, and the other one and currently looks like a doorstop. Not sure what she's doing. And I have a little crossbreed rescue dog who's 3 and a half, and they're all completely different, which I love it. I love the fact that they're so diverse and they challenge me on something. One of them will challenge me on every single day. So they keep
Really?
Yep. So I always remember what it's like to be a client because I'm like it with my own dogs.
Brilliant. I don't know if I know what a Norwich Terrier is. So you sent me a picture. Is that the 3 dog
That is,
in
yeah,
your
that's the 3 I've
picture?
got now. So we've got Merlin, Ripley and Pepper Potts.
Oh, so Norwich Terriers, what are they like? Are they a bit like Cairn Terriers or?
Yeah, they are. So you've got Norwich Terriers and Norfolk Terriers, and
Yeah.
80-ish years ago, they all used to be Norwich. And
Oh,
basically, it's all in the ear base is the difference between the two. So people that liked the prick ears, which is what Norwich Terriers have got, they decided to keep the Norwich Terrier name. And people that like the drop-eared version, a bit like a Border Terrier, they decided to change it to Norfolk Terriers. And so the split then happened. And so you still have the two, but they are pretty much identical apart from ear up or ear down, and all list of all of the actual terriers. So obviously you've got Yorkshire Terriers that are a toy breed. The terrier group, Norwiches and Norfolks, are the smallest. A red Cairn, but smaller.
oh, okay. Oh, I love that. Joe, before we explore the work you do today, I'd love to take you right back to the beginning because 20 years in business, that's no mean feat. This podcast and this season in particular is all about the person behind the business. So I'd like to come back to and explore that at some point about the fact you've been going for so long and how you've done it. But let's take you back to your beginning then. Your journey hasn't always involved just training dogs. You've worked with and learnt from a variety of animals. Where did that connection with animals begin and how did those experiences eventually lead you into creating your own dog training business, Joe?
So growing up, I didn't have dogs. My mum wasn't. She's better with dogs now, but she was never a dog person. So the closest I could get, which people find amusing with the size of my dogs now, were hamsters. So I haven't gone much in size, but I had lots of hamsters. I started off with my next door neighbours. We looked after it for when they were on holiday and they didn't want it back, basically. So Nibbles the hamster became our hamster. And I lived in my room and I just used to, every day, get home from school, Nibbles would get out the cage, didn't have a hamster ball or anything, would just be out loose. And I would just interact and do stuff. Here's some treats, let's do some bits and pieces. And Nibbles will learn to do things. Get in this little hamster wheel on the side of the cage and you get a treat, or go over here and you get something for it. And I didn't know anything about dog training or animal training then, but we loved that interaction. And I then had, throughout my teenage years, several hamsters of different varieties. And we had hamsters once. We've had rescue hamsters since I've been an adult and married with John. We had Penn and Teller, the 2 Russian hamsters. They were quite... So we carried on with it. We haven't got any hamsters at the minute, but we do have a lot of other animals. And so when I got to 21, I decided it was time for a dog. I wanted a dog. Didn't know what I wanted at all, other than something smallish and probably something scruffy, because that suits my style pretty much. Not sleek at all. And just happened to see Pepper, he's fine. Just happened to see a book in Pets at Home, I think it was, that was just had a picture of a Norwich Terrier face on the front. And it was a white background book. I've still got it, with this red Norwich Terrier face on it that just stood out. And I saw it and said, that's what I want. I want this. This breed is amazing. I love it. Brought the book, read it. Yep, definitely want this. Not realising that Norwich Terriers are on the vulnerable breed listing. So getting hold of one isn't necessarily easy, especially if it's your first dog. Breeders are obviously very specific as to who they'll let dogs to. And this was back in 2000, so we didn't have as much access to internet at home as we have now. And I was using, I had a keyboard for our Sky, it wasn't broadband, it was internet then, dial-up. And that's how I contacted my first Norwiches, Cassie, her breeder, and said, I've snail-mailed with the Norwich Terrier Club, and the person that runs it, Beverly, told me that you've got puppies. Have you still got puppies available? Yes, I've got one. I've got a little girl. Oh, can we come and see you? And we did, and we brought her home the next week, because it just so happened that she was getting to 12 weeks old anyway. And so, yeah, brought her home in November of 2020, I can't say it. And that's where my love of Norwich Terriers came from, terriers in general, and wanting to do something with animals but not sure what. And a few years later, I was a designer for magazines, and where we worked was above a vet, which actually then became my vet. And I was sitting there thinking, my hands are hurting from being on a computer all day. I don't like being under strip lighting. I want to do something else. I don't want to be a vet, because there'll be too many emotional times for me, and I get too emotional.
Yeah.
Saw a magazine, dog magazine. In the back was an advert saying, become a dog trainer. And it was in a place called Bocking. I was living in Rain, which was near Braintree in Essex. So less than 15 minutes away. What are the chances? Spoke to the lady, signed up. 3 years later, I've got levels 1, 2, and 3 in dog training, dog behaviour, and in counselling skills. And somehow got offered a job by a dog training company who said, we need someone for Colchester area in Essex. Would you like to be our Colchester trainer? Yeah, I think I would, thank you. And that's how it started. So that was in 2024.
Oh, right.
I fell
Okay.
into it, really, because I wanted to do something different that involved
Yeah.
my dog. And then while doing the training, I then got my next Norwich, which was Taylor, which was Cassie's nephew. And so they helped me learn a lot of what I was doing. I did a lot of volunteering at PCA in
Okay.
Wethersfield. So I was getting to use a lot of the training methods to do stuff with the dogs that I was taking out on walks, and bonding with them and connecting with them. And that was really great to work with different breeds. I'm a dog
Yeah.
trainer, and it just
Yeah.
turns out I really love it.
So are you still working for the company now? Or is it your own business now?
No, it's my own business now, which again I
Yeah.
fell into doing. Most people, when they run their own business, they've planned it, they want to do it, they take that leap. That's not
I
how I
fell
did it.
into it as
I
well.
fell
Yeah.
into
I'm
it.
just,
Yeah, it just happens. It calls you somehow, doesn't it? So I'd worked for it was called Altogether Animals. It's not that name isn't about anymore. And they were based down the bottom of Essex, and I'm at the top of Essex. So I would go into the office some days, but I managed the training area for my area, my side. And after a couple of years, they decided they wanted to just focus on their base area. So they said, so we're going to close the area that you're doing. However, would you like to take it over? And also, I had 2 bosses, and one of them said, I would like to take it over with you if you want to do that. That sounds fine. Lots of information. I'd say yes, why not? So I took it over with Claire, and it ran for another about 18 months like that. Claire did all the background stuff. She was the one that made sure we had a website and insurance and an accountant and everything. And I just carried on doing the dog training. Hadn't considered it was a business. I just go out and train people and dogs. And then after about 18 months, and Claire had a small family, young family, sorry, and wanted to concentrate on them. So he said, so I'm going to leave and you'll carry on as you are. And I literally carried on for several years, not considering I ran a business. How it ran, I don't know. I was just doing training, taking some money, paying my rent, doing some training. And then eventually thought, yeah, I'm actually running a business here. Maybe I need a little bit. And I had to then start getting advice. but as an
Yeah.
established business working all the hours already, whereas a lot of people start their business and they're trying to then, they're building up their hours, aren't they? They're trying to get
Mm.
customers. So they've got maybe a little bit more time and brain power to learn how to do the things, trying to do it all at the same time.
Yeah.
I've got all the stuff
Yeah.
going on, and now I've got to learn how to do social media and work out how
Yeah.
to do the end of year stuff and all the things. Yeah, so it's been a lot.
Yeah. So it is full on, isn't it? Because like you say, not everyone gets into this to run a
No.
business. They get into it for the love of doing dog training
Mm,
or grooming or whatever. But it is quite hard, but it's also rewarding. But there is a lot to balance because you're working on the business, you're working in the business, but
mm,
then you need to work on it. And it's a
yeah,
balancing act, isn't it?
really hard. It's really hard. And you can, I don't know about anyone else, but I can go several weeks and realize I haven't actually worked on, I haven't recorded my transactions or something, or I haven't sent my thing off to HMRC, or there's so many things to remember.
Yeah.
And then along the way, I've been diagnosed with quite a few chronic conditions. And of course, most of them, typically for me, have got memory issues. And then I used ADHD, which has memory issues. And I'm going through
Oh,
menopause, which has memory issues. So
oh,
trying to
bloody
remember
hell.
I can remember how to train dogs. Just about remember to turn up to appointments. But all the admin stuff, oh my goodness, it's really hard to try and make sure you're balancing everything and remembering. You suddenly go, 2 o'clock in the morning, I was going to go to bed, but I just need to get that thing sent out because I'd forgotten to do it. And I said I was going to do it and I need to get it done. So yeah, it's a
Right.
lot. It's hard work.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Because I'm waiting an ADHD assessment and I'll probably be waiting on it for a while. And obviously, I'm probably undiagnosed ADHD, but I speak to a lot of business owners that are either neurodivergent, they've had a light diagnosis, or they're dealing with chronic illnesses. So I fit into that bracket as well. I've got chronic
Mm,
sort of pain that I'm dealing with, waiting on my assessment, suffer with mental health. As pet professionals, I think because we're like empaths,
yeah,
and quite emotional, and we do suffer with all the other stuff, all the crap, don't we?
all the
Basically,
crap. We get all the crap. And I think there's so many people that have their own business and it's to do with animals in one way or another, that have got, like you say, either mental illness. So I've been diagnosed with depression since I was 13. I'm now
oh
46. That's a
bless.
long time.
Oh wow, that
Well, it's part
is.
of me. You work with it, don't you?
You
And then I've
do.
the chronic bits and pieces and all the other bits and bobs that come with it. But every single thing, as much as they can be annoying and they've got really ridiculous symptoms, I've got fibromyalgia. It's the weirdest combination of symptoms you've ever heard. It's just bonkers. It makes no sense at all. Um, but a lot of them actually have helped me understand dogs that bit
Mm,
better. Where I do the
yes.
fitness and conditioning and I work with dogs on pain, because I'm always in pain from my ME and other bits and pieces, I really can empathise with dogs, and I can see and I can help owners understand a bit better that, yes, I think your dog's in pain because this is what I'm seeing. And I know that because I do the same. Your dog's slightly turning their hip when they walk. I do the same when my hips are bad. And I can help them see that, yes, just because your dog's in pain doesn't mean you're necessarily going to see them crying out and limping or not doing their normal stuff, because I'm just full time and I'm in pain all the time. I have a morphine
Yeah.
patch on 24/7. You
Oh,
just
do you?
you just have to adapt, don't you? If I didn't do
Yeah.
something just because I was in pain, I literally would get nothing done. And our animals are the same. They don't know that back pain or that knee joint being in pain is not right. They just go, oh, okay, that's not great. Let's adjust my weight slightly. I'll sit in a different, I'll avoid the gravel and going on the path. So yeah, so the having having all the rubbish stuff actually, I think, can help us be a little bit more understanding of animals, because we do have
Mm,
to go, oh wow, yeah, I do actually understand how you're feeling.
yeah,
And we
that's
don't
true.
expect as much.
It is. It's a lot, isn't it? Like you say, like
Mm.
running a business, but then dealing with all those health issues and stuff. It's a lot. I'd love to then explore. You did mention it just then. What can you tell us a bit more about the whole canine fitness and conditioning side of your
Oh, I
business?
can.
And what's involved? Yeah, what's going on there? Because I don't know much about it myself.
That's okay. So while I was doing my Kennel Club accreditation, which I passed that in 2015, took many years, and the idea behind it is the Kennel Club don't give you courses to do. It's a very standalone accreditation, but you have about 1,000,000 sections to go through where you need to score yourself on how much knowledge you have. And while doing that, I realised I didn't have a huge amount of knowledge on the anatomy of the dog and physiology and all just the general what a dog is, what it makes up to make them move and do things. I've got a dog behind me. So I looked into how I could do this more. At the time I was showing dogs, so I'd done the points of the dog course where you learn points of the dog, where bits and pieces are, so that in the show ring they say, oh, can you present this part? Yes, I know where that is now. So I'd done stuff, but I hadn't done a huge amount. And while I think I was doing a lot of online with Fenzi, FDSA, online courses in random things. I like online. Online works for me very well because I haven't got to travel anywhere. I can just log on already. I can sit or stand if I want. And they happened to be launching, they were doing canine conditioning in general. So I thought, oh, excellent. I had a 14-year-old dog at the time. Think she's starting to lose a bit of muscle tone. Don't really know what to do. I will learn canine conditioning. Yes. And I loved it. My first course, 6 weeks long. What can I do? What more can I do? And then it just so happened that the person that did it, Debbie Tarocca, was then launching a year-long course to be a certified canine fitness trainer. So I looked at it. I thought, no, I can't afford it. They need all the money up front. It's 4 courses back to back. And you have to pay it all in one go. Spoke to a friend of mine who I met as a client. And it just so happened that I've been with her for so many years. And her dog, a border terrier, had IVDD. He had diabetes, meningitis, so many things,
Oh, blimey.
And he had a lot of pain. He went blind from his diabetes. You name it, he went through it, bless him. But he was a terrier, so he got on with stuff. He was tough. And I spoke to her about it, and she said, let me pay for it because it sounds like you'll be able to help my dog with the fitness side of things, because the drugs he was on for his meningitis cause muscle wastage. And once dogs lose their muscle tone, same as us, they can't move very well, and then they don't use the body as much, so they lose even more muscle, and then you end up with a dog that can't walk or go anywhere. So she very kindly paid for it so I could get started, and literally few weeks in, I was learning, and I was being able to, in our sessions with Pongo, the border terrier, I could then go, I know what we're working on here, let's work on this. Start seeing muscle tone for him improving. Cassie, who, when she stood, her back legs were going under her where she'd lost muscle tone. She could stand normally again. She could jump back in the back door again. And I was hooked. I'm so passionate about canine fitness and conditioning and strengthening because it can make such a difference to dogs. It really can. And it's not just about old dogs as well. It's any age dog. So I passed that, and that was in 2014, and didn't do a huge amount with it because I was the first person because it was online, I was the first person in the UK to get this certification. Good old imposter syndrome. Oh, who am I to be telling people what to do with their dogs? I'll stick with training tricks and things. So did it with my dogs, did it with a couple of people, started progressing it in classes a little bit. And then I got Merlin, who is now my 14.5-year-old. And at 1 year old, I'd noticed that when Merlin was itching his ears with his back leg, there'd be clicking. And I thought, his ear can't be clicking. There's no joint in the ear. What's going on? And at the time I was taking Taylor, which is Merlin's uncle. He was going for laser and hydro a couple of weeks. And the lady that did that, Jackie, such a lovely lady. She's retired now, but she was just amazing. She could spend 2 seconds feeling your dog and know exactly what was needed with them. She was just so good. And so Taylor was having work for his back. He had some issues with a couple of areas of his back, which contributed to reactions with dogs. Pain makes such a big difference. As you know yourself, it's about 80% of behaviour issues. There's pain or discomfort somewhere. It could be dental pain, could be a thorn in the foot, but there'll be something. And so Merlin went along anyway, and I said, would you mind just seeing what's going on with his legs? Said what I'd heard. She felt, and she said, very start of luxating patella in one leg. So luxating patella, for if anyone doesn't know, it's the kneecap, and basically the joint isn't quite deep enough, so the joint will move. And you've got grade 1 to 4. Grade 1 is it's uncomfortable and it might pop out occasionally, up to grade 4, which is you need to have surgery. Your dog needs something being done. So she said, go and get a referral, and I can then have a look at doing hydro with him to boost him up. So this is a 1 year old dog. So like I say, it doesn't need to be a dog that's old that benefits from fitness and conditioning and therapies, holistic therapies. Bless you, Pepper. And took him to the vet. Now, it's not vet bashing. I love vets. Vets do such a good job. They're a necessity. We can't do things without them. And I'm very holistic, but I'm very much in debt to vets at the same time because the two go hand in hand. So I took Merlin along, I explained what I'd heard and Jackie had said, and the vet kind of had a little feel and said, oh, I can't feel anything. Can I show you where his knee is? So I put the vet's hand on his knee, moved the leg a little bit so you could then feel the click and feel the movement. And he said, oh, yeah, oh, you can only just feel it, can't you? Yes, because I caught it early, which is the point. So he then did refer me, and it's very hard getting referrals. This is one of the biggest issues that we have with working with behaviour if we think a dog is in pain, is getting to someone that can specialise in that pain, because so often dogs don't present when they're in the consult room, or they're shut down, or they're overexcited, or whatever it might be. He started his journey on hydro, and I started doing his fitness because I'd already learned what to do with luxating patella. Turned out both his knees had it, so bilateral luxating patella at 1 year of age. Vet had said to me, he'll need surgery in about 2 or 3 years. Small dogs often get luxating patella issues. And I said, oh, is there anything I can do? And he said, no, there's nothing you can do. He'll need surgery. So I thought, I know there is something I can do. What about supplements? And I know that some supplements will support. They don't make a joint grow back. They don't suddenly build muscle tone, but they can support. So I said, what about supplements? And he laughed and he said, well, you can if you like, but they're not going to do a lot. I said, okay. So I started him on supplements, and I started him on a routine of conditioning. And 14 and a half, he still doesn't need surgery. He's still grade 1.
Really?
Yeah, he started. I'm religious with his training. I'm very specific. Low slippery floors, so he's never got tension on those legs. I've never taught him. I'm a trick trainer. He's a trick dog champion, but I've never taught him any of these tricks where he's using just the back legs. He never bounces on the back legs or puts his feet up and waves them round. I don't do sit pretty with him because it puts a lot of strain on the hips and the knees. So I've been really, and the other two have just had to put up with being rigorously conditioned, haven't you? And he started going to a really lovely lady, Raquel. She's an hour away from me, but she does underwater treadmill, laser, PEMF, which is electromagnetic therapy, acupuncture, and other things. And I took Taylor there. Taylor had hemangiosarcoma, which is a bleeding cancer. So at 13, we lost him at 13 and a half. We had 7 really good months with him. Went the holistic route because the chemo just made him too sick straight away. And part of that was acupuncture. He literally came out of acupuncture like he was half the age. He was bouncing about. You wouldn't know he could go at any moment. I knew Raquel from that. So I took Merlin along, and she went over him and she said, yep, I can feel the knees. She said, but the legs are strong. She said, he's still grade 1. That hasn't got any, I can feel that's not got worse. It's a little bit tight, which I expected. So when dogs compensate, they will move the weight naturally to another area. And as dogs are majority in the front end anyway, to be able to steer and sniff and everything, dogs that have got something going on with the back end, hips and knees, etc., will put the weight on the front. And at some point, you might then end up with an elbow issue or shoulder because it gets tired. So she said, yeah, the front's a bit tight, but it's not really that bad. She said, I'll check his back because that's where it will be really painful, I suspect, because he'll be compensating. She felt his back. She felt it again. She said his back feels perfect. And this was 11 years old. His back is amazing. She said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because you're doing a good job. And he still goes once a month. I use my Fatizo red light therapy with him because I told her I had one. She said, oh, I can give you exercises for that. We can go from once a week to once a month. No problem. And that's what we do. And that's why he's still mobile. He's got a little bit of arthritis, I believe. So I give him something for that. But his knees, he's not in pain. He can still move. He still does tricks. He still does hoopers and all the stuff he likes doing. And he does his fitness exercises. And he's really strong. And Ripke does them. She's 8. She's been doing them since she was a tiny pup. And when we got Pepper was 10 months when we got her as a rescue. She's got a million breeds in her, including a lot of long-bodied. She's got Lhasa Apso. She's got Dachshund. Other things. So she's quite a long-bodied dog. Short, but long-bodied. So automatically, I've started strengthening her body. She had easty-westy feet, which is when the front paws face outwards, which indicates that a weakness somewhere. And her back was roached a little bit when we first got her. Her top line looks amazing now. Her feet are almost front facing. She's strong. She has a little twinge every now and then in her back because she's a lunatic and chucks herself about. So again, young dog, will have discomfort, but I can keep on top of that by keeping her body nice and strong. So
Mm.
that wasn't a quick answer at all. Sorry, that took a lot longer than I expected. Fitness, conditioning, strengthening is for every dog. I work with dogs from puppy to super seniors. I work with dogs that have nothing wrong with them, but their owner's previous dog had knee issues, elbow issues, whatever it was. And that's what ended up needing to have them put to sleep because their quality of life had gone. They were in too much pain. So they have started doing conditioning with their dog at 6 to 12 months to make sure they can be stronger for longer and keep them mobile for longer. And
Mm.
the mental work that is required, my dogs love it. And every dog I work conditioning absolutely loves doing it. And we don't even use a lot of equipment to start with. So it's not even the fancy stuff that gets them excited. It's the concentration and what are we doing and what are we working on? Oh, I've got back legs, didn't even realise. And dogs just take to it, and it's fantastic to see. And I get to then see those dogs growing up, and if they have a slight injury, they're healing quicker and they're noticing if something different happens. Oh, they've landed funny on a walk. Okay, I've spotted that's different because I understand what I'm looking at. I'll get them to the vet, I'll make sure they're okay, and then I'll go and see Jo and she'll physio it for me.
Yeah.
So it all works out quite
Yeah.
nicely. So it's another
Yeah.
area. It's not as high up as your physiotherapy, chiropractor, canine massage therapist. It's not nowhere near. I don't need a referral for people to come to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
diagnose, but I'm the step after physio is finished, so I carry on the
Oh,
strengthening side of things.
yeah,
I've
that's
got
good.
a few dogs that go to hydrotherapy and they see me as well for conditioning. And some of the therapists come to me for other training, tricks training or whatever. And they'll say to me, oh, we had such and such in the other day. I always know when they've seen you for conditioning that week because they're always stronger in the pool, which is really
Oh,
lovely to
okay.
hear because the dogs can't give me the feedback.
Yeah.
That's really nice
Oh,
that it can
wow.
work with the other modes as well.
Yeah, it's like it's a bit of an ecosystem
Yeah.
that you're there for the dog support.
Mm.
I still don't think there's many people doing it though, is there, Joe? 'Cause it's not something
There's
I've
not.
heard
I
of.
think there's like maybe 4 of us in the UK that have got my certification, certified professional canine fitness trainer. There's a handful of people that have done a one by FitPaws, and FitPaws is a little bit more known, which is like a 3-day course. I think it's in person, might be online, I'm not sure. And then there's another one that's run by a big tricks trainer. She's an American, but it's a worldwide tricks organisation. And I do the tricks with them, but I don't do the canine conditioning with them because it's tricks on fitness equipment, basically. It's not one I would recommend.
Oh,
See the stuff they do, and it's worrying. There's dogs slipping everywhere. They're doing equipment. Like the first day they meet their trainer, they shouldn't be doing equipment yet. If they don't know how to stand still, you can't expect them to still on a wobbly piece of equipment. It's not regulated, as so many things aren't in the dog industry. And you can get injuries. Dogs can get injured from doing exercises wrong. It's really important and I have put this out on Facebook and Instagram recently, that if you see another dog that's like your dog or has got an issue that you think might be what your dog has, and you see them doing exercises, don't just copy them, because number one, that might not be right for your dog and you might actually do damage. And number two, that person might not be doing it right themselves. Have they been given them exercises by someone that's certified? Or have they seen it on someone else's social media and then they're copying it? And again, I'll see people doing stuff with their dogs and the dogs are on slippery floors and their feet are going all over the shop. And the thing that they're working on is too high for them, or they're rushing the exercise and not letting the dog actually work the muscle properly, so it's not doing anything, or their positioning isn't quite right. So the area they think they're working, they're not. They're not actually doing what they think they're doing anyway. It's nice they're spending time with their dog, but it's not benefiting at all. It's getting there. I know a few canine fitness trainers now. It's a lot of people have added it on that are already physiotherapists, canine massage, that added it in, which is good because I say it's giving dogs that longevity. People that I've never heard of, they don't already train with me inquiring about fitness and conditioning because they're hearing about it more. And I've had referrals from hydrotherapy people. Oh, I think you could do this with your dog, do the conditioning because I think it's a good idea. I think the next stage is to try and speak to vets and get vets to let people know that, no, it's not a case of your dog diagnosed with this and that's that. Actually, there's a lot you can do. You can actually support your dog and make it stay in one level. Don't let it get worse. But it's not there. There's still that. There's nothing you can do. Surgery in the future, unfortunately. But actually, there's an intermittent step, definitely.
yeah.
And it
It's
benefits everyone.
Yeah, it's tricky also with the vets, isn't it?
Mm.
Obviously, I'm not vet bashing at
No,
all,
no, no.
but I'm lucky that I've now found a really good vet who's independent,
Yes.
and listens, and he's changed his appointment slots to 20 minutes now
Mm.
because a lot of vets only normally
Yeah.
get sort of 10, 15 minutes, and
Yeah.
they don't always. The dog can obviously doesn't, what am I trying to say, hides it. Dogs are very
Yeah.
good at hiding
Yeah.
pain and they compensate. And when they go into that examination room for that consultation, they may not show that they're in pain. But
Yeah.
so it's really important to get the vets on board, isn't it? And take as much evidence
Yes.
as well.
Yeah. Videos
Yeah.
and photos are brilliant. If I'm working with someone, I've got so a lot of my advanced training classes, general obedience classes, are dogs that have been coming all their lives since they were puppies, and they're now 13, 14, 15. They're still coming. And so I know the dogs. So one week they'll turn up and I'll think something doesn't look quite right. And I'll show the owner and I'll say, let me take some videos and you can then take that to your vet. And then the vet, what's going on. Because like you said, sometimes, I mean, I've been in when they are really behind, they've had an emergency come in earlier, now everything's been pushed back. If you can go in and say, okay, this is what I need, you're in and out in seconds. You might not even get the 10, 15 minutes if they believe that they've done what they need. So a tiny amount of time, a very small space. And like you say,
Yeah.
dogs are going in. Mine go in very excited because people have hands, they maybe treats. And Pepper thinks, oh, and dogs may drop a treat or I don't know. So they're all very excited going in. A lot of dogs are very shut down when they go into the vets. They are very nervous. So then you've got all the nervous behaviours and energy coming out. So you're not a dog in pain because their adrenaline's up here and they've got hormones doing whatever hormones do. And they're in a small room and the vet goes, and often we don't know what the problem is. I knew with Merlin because of the training I'd had and because I could go and speak to a friend who has even more training. So I knew what was wrong. But if I took him in and said he's clicking when he itches his ear, I suspect the focus would have been on the ear, not on me.
Yeah.
Might have
Yeah.
been on the nail, perhaps. Let's check the nails aren't broken. No, that seems fine. Is there anything in the ear that he's catching on? No. Nope, don't know what it is then. You wouldn't automatically think when he itches his ear, it clicks. You wouldn't naturally go, oh, it's probably the kneecap, which it was.
And with the luxating patella thing, I can't even pronounce it
No,
properly.
that's perfect. That's right. That's right.
I was having this conversation with a group of dog pros the other day that I'm in a local group, but also because it stemmed from one of my clients that's got a small cockapoo breed, and I've got a toy poodle as well. And unfortunately, small breed dogs, they're very dismissed if they skip.
Yeah.
It's often
That's
that
what they do. That's what
it's
they
just
do.
what they do, small breed thing. But I think you have to be your advocate and push for further investigation or get a second opinion because
Yeah.
I raised to the owners about this small cockapoo and she spoke to a vet about it, and obviously it was just dismissed as, oh, it's a small breed thing.
Just what they do.
But
Sorry, carry on.
when she then went to the new vet that I'm at, that I recommended, she's now been diagnosed with a grade 1 luxating patella. And obviously it's very mild, but it's to keep an eye on it. And
Right.
she feels bad that she didn't push for that before because you are just led by the vet.
What? And vets are doing their best. They've got so much knowledge, but it's a little bit on so many things. They can only learn so much when they're doing all the actual training. I haven't got anywhere near as much knowledge as a vet, but I've got a lot of knowledge on pain because that's what I've studied and I've spent a lot of time on that. So unless you get a vet who has got an interest in pain and how it presents, and they've done loads of extra training on top of all the hours they do, they're going to have a certain amount of, okay, so this is how it should present. This is not what the dog's doing, therefore it won't be that. But you and I know, chronic illness, nothing presents how it's supposed to. It just does what it likes. When I was getting diagnosed with my ME, and I was very lucky that the doctor I had at the time happened to know about chronic illness. And so as soon as I said, I've got all these symptoms, I think I'm going mad because none of them make any sense. And he said, let's do lots of blood tests, and ruled out everything else and said, we think it's ME. Let's get you booked in for an MRI, check what's going on there. But so many people with ME take 10, 15 years to get diagnosed because there's nothing physical to see. You're only going by some symptoms that you can't prove because you can't see it. So the same side of thing with vets. They can only go by what a dog presents, and they don't always present something that's obvious. I worked with a Welsh Collie, 12 years ago, and he'd gone to boarding kennels, I think, for 2 weeks while his mum was on holiday. And on the last couple of days, they'd sent a lot of videos, and she didn't like what they were doing. They were doing a lot of encouraging him to jump up to get the ball and then throwing the ball. So he was jumping up and turning to get the ball in midair. And she sent me a couple of videos, and I said, "Oh, try and get them to not do that, because that's not good for any dog." Which she did then say, "Can you not do that?" They carried on doing it for some reason. And then at some point in the last couple of days, he landed funny and ended up limping. Shock. So she got him back limping, took him to the vet, and they checked his elbow and his ankle and said, "Can't find anything wrong with it. We'll give him a week's worth of pain relief, rest him, see how he does." But she was coming to training classes with me each week. So she brought him to training and said, "I don't know what he's going to do." So I said, "Can I get my hands on him? Let's have a feel." And I felt all the way along, and I said, "It's actually not his leg, it's his shoulder. That's where the pain is." So she said, "Okay." Took him back to her vet. The vet said, "No, I don't think it is. No, where he's limping, it's going to be somewhere down on their elbow based on their training." So they said, "Oh, let's have another week of Metacam and rest him for a bit." So she wasn't happy with that. Right, she had an old friend who's a vet, who is a specialist in something, who was about an hour away toward London. So we are northeast of Essex, so we're about, let's say, an hour or so from London. So she went to see him, and she said, "My trainer said this is where she thinks the pain is." And he felt it. He said, "She's right, that's where the pain is. Let's concentrate on that." So they could then actually work on where he damaged a bit of the muscle, give him relief. And we worked on exercises to strengthen it again. And he was fine after that. But because he was presenting with, "I'm going to limp, this leg hurts," that's where the focus was. And it's so hard in, like you say, 15, 20 minutes, small room. This is what the dog's doing. Let's do this and see. Do it with doctors, have these meds, see if they help. If not, come back. It's the same thing. But we can say, actually, although this is sore, hurts more up here, they can't do that. So you can only go with, and I mean, look over every single joint of a dog. You won't have time for that in a console. So it's really hard, but it shouldn't be so difficult to then get a referral. The owners know their dogs well. If they're saying, "This is what's presenting, it's not clearing up, please let me go to someone else who can spend time looking at the issue." But so many people, they have to fight and fight to get referrals. I don't know why. Because if that dog is then healthy again, they're living longer, they're going to be coming to the vet for longer. So it's not like they're missing out.
Yeah,
I don't know why it's so difficult. It's
strange.
with education, maybe they
Yeah.
need to learn a bit more about what the referral people are doing and how they're helping. I don't know. But it's getting better, like you say, because now we've got a lot of independent vets who are very up on prevention rather than waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
vet that I used to recommend and had done for many years, unfortunately this year's been taken over. Well, it took over last year. This year it's now showing, and don't know what's going on with them. It's like they're trying to turn people away. So I've now moved to a new vet who is independent, and one of the vets that works there is very holistic, so totally up my street. And took Merlin in a few months ago. He's got a lump on his bum, bless him, but it turned out it's fine. Took him in, and I was in there for 45 minutes. Because we were chatting, professional to professional, and it was the first time I'd seen her. And I said, "Oh, do you do senior dog checks?" "Yes, I do." "Excellent, I've got some wee." And she said, "Oh, you've labelled it and everything." "Oh, yes, I know what I'm doing." I've had senior dogs before. She could test it. They do everything in-house. You get everything back the next day. And she's, as I'd mentioned, senior dog checks. And although a lot of vet practices do them, they don't advertise them, so people don't know. And a senior dog check, once your dog is 7 or 8 onwards, they will do a regular check every 6 months. They'll check the urine for diabetes, UTIs, and check the kidneys.
Right.
And they will also just double check things like heart rate, weight, and things like that. Now, this particular vets do a monthly senior dog free session. Bring your dog in, they'll weigh them. Again, they'll check their heart, they'll do the urine test, etc., etc. They talk to them about getting your dog moving. Yes, they're slowing down a bit, but the importance of getting them moving. They might not want to do an hour's walk, so go out in the garden 3 times a day and just do 5 minutes of walking with them. Do something. The importance of, here are some gentle exercises to help with the muscle tone. Let's do something now when they're 7, 8, 9, and not wait till they are struggling at 13, 14. I was blown away that they are putting these things in place. They realise that prevention is better, and actually they've got people that they recommend to go to it when their dog is, certain breeds are like 5 or 6, to get in early and prevent issues from happening or taking longer to happen at least. And it was just brilliant. It was absolutely, and I've said to them, if you ever want me to come and do a talk to people about conditioning, for nothing, I'm passionate about this topic, let me know and I'll come over and do it. So we're talking about that a little bit in the background as well. And it was just so refreshing that they aren't just, let's wait for it to happen and then diagnose and do surgery. It was, let's try and help dogs in the start. It was great. Yeah, all Merlin stuff came back absolutely clear, so that was good.
I've never heard of senior dog checks, but yeah, and then my dog was diagnosed with a grade 1 as well. Like, it's important to get a second opinion.
I'll give you some exercises.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to touch on vulnerable breeds, the vulnerable breed list. So on my other podcast, the Yappy Hour, I interviewed a lady that's got an English toy terrier.
Yep.
And they're on a vulnerable breed list. So, like, what makes a dog go onto vulnerable breed? Is it just because people aren't breeding them anymore? They aren't popular, or what?
It's the number of registrations per year. So all of the dogs are pedigree, because obviously there's no crossbreeds. There's no one list of, because you can get so many variations. So they're all pedigree dogs, and it's based on the number of registrations per year, which it may have been 250 and now it's 300. I can't remember. But you have a list of vulnerable native breeds and you have a list of watching breeds that aren't on it yet, but they're watching what the numbers are. Norwich Terriers, at one point, you were getting, they don't have very big litters. So you've got very dedicated breeders. They're very hit hot on the genetics and can't breed them with them and this, that, and the other. And contracts all say don't breed with them because the breeders want to stick with what they're doing to try and make sure that they're strong and healthy. Weirdly, Norfolk Terriers aren't on the list.
Okay.
The ear base makes them much, much stronger and have bigger litters. Generally speaking, if you get 1 or 2, that's a big litter. They're not great. The main breeder of Norwich has actually started getting some 4 or 5 puppy litters in the last few years, but that's unheard. What are you doing? How is that happening? So, to give an example, so when I started doing work with dogs to do with the vulnerable breed list, so I always do things like discover dogs at Crufts to talk about the breed and vulnerable breeds, would have been 2007, 2008. And at that point, Norwich's in a year registrations were about 60 something compared with Labradors. And this is registrations, not all Labradors are registered, of course, was 15,000 in a year.
Oh,
that gives you an idea of the difference. There's a breed that's called it's an Otterhund, which is otter hound, how you spell it. At one point, there was 7 or 8 registered in a year. Their numbers they were the lowest you could get. And their numbers have gone up a bit now, but it's based on puppies born and registered each year. And if they get to a certain amount, it's considered that they're at risk. So they go onto the vulnerable native breed, and we try and promote the breed a little bit more. So people getting that breed have an understanding of them and get into them a little bit more. And then again, it's just talking about the health and understanding the genetics, bits and bobs. I don't understand the genetics. I don't pretend to. I've never wanted to breed. But I'm on my 3rd and 4th Norwich now. And then I've got Pepper, who's, like I say, rescue crossbreed. But my next dog, I plan to be Norwich, and then I'll probably just keep alternating. You don't get Norwiches in rescue because there's not many of them. And when you get them, every contract with a breeder with a Norwich is going to say, if for some reason you can't keep them, they'll come back to us. So that you don't get them. You just don't get them in rescue. Otherwise, I'll be Norwiches left, right, and centre. And probably so they do come off the registration sometimes, and then they go onto the watching list, and that's when the registrations pick up. And that can be down to sometimes breeders will import the breed from somewhere else to try and build on the genetics and expand the gene pool a little bit. Sometimes it will just be, okay, so this female breeding with this male produces 1 litter and the others aren't very strong, and so they don't make it, which happens a lot. But actually breeding the same female with this one, we seem to be getting 4 in a litter each time. So let's concentrate on this line. It's that sort of thing to try and build up the numbers a little bit more. So it's awareness and it's building up the health of the breed. So they're not necessarily unhealthy. It's more that they don't have very big litter.
Okay.
So yeah, it's getting them out and about. But there's quite a few. I think there's about 60 dogs that are on the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
On the other list. So at one point, so Merlin did a lot of things with another dog that's an old English sheepdog, and they did a lot of music routines. They did they did Britain's Got Talent together. It was ridiculous. You know, the little and large, both shaggy dogs and old English sheepdog are also on the vulnerable breed list. And I remember when we did our thing, we danced to Ghostbusters routine, and Merlin was very serious, and Piper was having a great time. Went going to see Ant and Dec a few times. She had a ball, and Merlin was like, "Come on, Piper, we're meant to be doing this seriously." And at the end, for some reason, I don't know why he was so obsessed with it, Simon said, "Oh, so Merlin's entire still, but Piper has been done. Oh, so are you breeding with these two?" And Tyler and I were like Piper's owner, we looked at each other and went, "No, why would we breed with them?" And he said, two fun dogs that get on, one male, one female. I would assume you'd breed from them. He wouldn't drop it. Several minutes he was talking about this. I don't know why. So I went, "Why are you advocating this?" I was like, "No, number one, Merlin can't reach." Have you seen the size of him compared to Piper? Number two, there's so much fur, I don't think anyone would know what was happening. And then she said Piper's spayed, so it couldn't happen. And he literally rolled his eyes and he said, "If she wasn't spayed, why would there be a reason for you to not breed from them?" And I said, "Because they're both on the vulnerable breed register and you're not supposed to be crossbreeding. We're trying to keep the breed healthy and bigger and build it up from there. So no, we're not going to, two amateurs, start crossbreeding dogs that are on the vulnerable breed listing." That did shut him
No
up.
way. And that was Simon Cowell, was it?
Oh my God. I don't know what it was. Whether he was seeing something in the
Oh,
future, I don't know, but he was obsessed with it.
because he is a dog. He is a dog person, isn't he, old
He is a
Simon?
dog
So,
person, but he didn't.
but
He told us that his dogs could do better, and so
of
I
course
said,
they were.
"Go get them, and we'll have a look." And he didn't say anything after that. We went on. We
Um,
were asked to go on. We went on to just have some fun with our dogs. We had no disillusions about trying to get through at any stages or anything. And I don't
yeah.
think that he liked that, because it was like, "So if you win, how we're not going to
Oh,
win,
this is
are
not.
we? Look at
Oh,
us, going to win."
you weren't taking it seriously, and he
I-
was like, "Oh, he was a bit bumpish." So, have I got this right, or have I remembered this right? Have you trained ducks or
Yes.
something? So, tell us about that, because didn't you go on TV or something
Yes.
as well,
Yeah.
training ducks?
Echo is on my arm here. Echo
Oh,
was my trick duck. I don't have her now, sadly. She passed away a couple of years ago, ill.
oh, bless.
She was 5, which isn't that old in ducks. So I've got chickens and ducks and quail and ferrets and canaries and parrots, and
Oh, wow, a right
rather ridiculous
menagerie.
in our house. It's trying to manage all that on top of the work. It's just ridiculous. So when we already had chickens, and my husband John decided he wanted Khaki Campbell ducks. I don't know why. He was obsessed with them and wanted them. And I said, "Well, fine, we'll get them in the future at some point." And then he said, "Oh, by the way, some eggs are being delivered today to hatch." What? What do you mean they've been delivered? And he'd ordered 6 Khaki Campbell eggs. And I said, "So what happens if only one hatches? And we only have one duck. You can't have one duck." That then led to, let's go and get some more ducks just in case, which we did. We bought 6 ducks. We had an assortment of different ducks. We've still got 5 of them several years on. And lo and behold, one duck hatched, which was Echo. And she was
Oh,
chirping from inside her egg for a few days, and I'll be chirping back. They're quite sweet when they chirp. And she hatched. She took 25 hours to hatch. It was like, I was trying to film it. I kept running out of storage. Will you just get out the egg?
oh,
Because when birds hatch, they peck a hole in one part, and then they sleep. It's tiring. And then they peck a bit, and they sleep. And they literally unzip the side of the egg. They go round the middle of
oh,
the egg.
oh,
So they
really?
do a bit sleep. So then she hatched, and the first thing she saw was me. So she bonded with me, imprinted. And the plan was, so the other 6 ducks lived outside, and we did this at a real bad time of year anyway. It was hard to get Khaki Campbells because it wasn't the time of year to hatch. So she hatched out in the 25th of September is when she actually arrived. So they don't have proper feathers. They're not waterproof at first until they're about 9 weeks old, and then they're actually got their full feathers through, and then they start waterproofing them with they've got a preening gland. So before that, and they can't be outside unless you've got either a mum to be under or a heat plate. So she stayed inside, where she stayed warm, and she had our spare room. She had a puppy pen all set up with a ramp, and she learnt to go up to bed at night. It was a bit weird, and I worked with the terriers. The terriers were fine with her. She was fine with them. So it got to about 5 or 6 weeks, and she hadn't met the others yet because she was going outside for a bit, but then she'd see them or hear them and she'd come back to me. So she wasn't sure. She was tiny. And then avian influenza, bird flu, kicked off and everything had to go into lockdown. So if you owned birds, they could not come out. They had to be housed. So the main 6 ducks were in their enclosure and they couldn't come out. And Echo then was still living in the house. She couldn't then be moved. We couldn't get her out to meet the others because I wanted them to free range so she had space. So she stayed in the house for several months and became a house duck. In fact, she lived in the house for several years, actually. So she became a house duck. And then that coincided with the following February, March, COVID lockdowns. So there I am, 2 terriers and a duck. The duck was just in the background doing lots of filming of my classes for people to get them online because we couldn't see them in person. I was doing things with the dogs and obviously lots of body language because I'm teaching rather than showing what the finished thing is. And Echo would be there just watching. And at some point, I did a twist or a spin, got the dog to go in a circle with a body language, and she did it. She followed my hand and did it. I was, oh, okay, I didn't know that would happen. Ducks are quite flighty, quite suspicious. They don't like new things in their space. But she did it. And I thought, whoa, okay, you can't have these treats because I think they are actually probably duck. I don't know. Find something because I use raw food. I use raw treats and things, meat treats. So God knows what was duck or chicken. So went off, got some peas and sweet corn because I knew she liked them, defrosted them and thought, let's have a go. Showed her the sweet corn. She followed it. She did a twist. Did it again. Okay, what else can you learn? So I tried something called a nose touch. So I started with the bit of sweet corn in my hand, closed my hand, showed it to her. She touched her beak to my hand. I gave her the treat. Oh, okay. Put a word to it. Then she started doing a nose touch to my hand. Okay. Then she learned peekaboo, go round me in between my feet. And then it spiraled from there. So if I had something I was teaching and my dogs knew it inside out, I'd use Echo to teach it because she didn't know the body language yet and I could actually show it better with her. Yeah. By the end of all the lockdowns, people were so disappointed they wouldn't get to see Echo anymore. I still had to do stuff with her at one point. But she learned so many tricks, 30, 40 tricks. She was the world's first official trick duck. She got her novice, intermediate and advanced trick titles through Do More With Your Dog, which is a universal, but probably is worldwide organisation and have to be assessed by another examiner. She went on Britain's Got Talent. They asked us 2 years in a row and I kept saying no. And the first year I said no because it's always filmed in the winter, which is when there's bird flu. So I said no because of bird flu. The second year they asked me and I said no, bird flu. They said, yes, well, we've spoken to DEFRA and we know what to do now. We got a license, they did all the stuff they had to do. They had a brand new carpet for her, so she never touched the floor because there's a risk that if someone's been where there's bird flu and then they tread it, that then she'll tread where they've tread and pick up bird flu. And if she brings it back, we have to cull our whole bird flock. Everyone has to go. So they had a brand new carpet for her. They did everything. When people were moving props on, they had to put shoe covers on. Yeah, I don't think most of the crew were happy with us, but it was great. And she loved it. It's somewhere on YouTube. I was told there was 2,000 people in the audience at that moment and they didn't want anyone to know that I had a duck. So we had all the equipment set up in the background and they wanted people to think I had a dog. They even said the brilliant part. They are so bizarre. I was wearing my normal clothes, which is T-shirt, combat trousers and a body warmer, gilet. And they said, looks a bit too much like a duck trainer. We're going to buy you some clothes. What does a duck trainer look like? How many duck trainers have you ever seen? I train my duck and I don't know what a duck trainer looks like. It was really weird. So they went out, they brought me a nice green shirt and some jeans and some shoes and I've still got them. It was fine. So I didn't look like a duck trainer anymore so no one could guess. And so I went out and I talked about my pet and what we were going to do. And Anton Deck had Echo and then she then walked out. So I went, come on, Echo. And she walked out and as she appeared, the whole audience went, oh, and clapped. And she just went, quack, and just carried on. And she did weaving through cones. She went up some steps, rang a bell, played the piano, down a ramp, through a tunnel, pushed a ball into a goal, then brought the goal. Don't know why. Did a few bits and pieces with me. And Simon went, well, it's not that good of an act, is it? So your people spent 2 years trying to get us here, actually. But I did actually need to cancel the day before because I had very strict criteria. Because when I did it with Merlin, we were there 3 different times, and the first day we were there for 13 hours plus 2 hours
Okay.
driving each way. And we went on stage on hour 12. And it's not just pets, kids, kid acts, they're there all day as well. They don't prioritise. So I said, I cannot be there with a duck for 12, 13 hours. That's just not going to work. Only a couple of hours maximum, because it's not fair. She's a duck. So they were like, okay. Then they gave me the times. They said, you need to be here for 9 a.m. I'm not a morning person. 9 a.m. She'll be on sometime after 1. And I said, no, we'll just pull out. It's fine. I'm not that bothered. Oh, let me talk to someone. Can you be here for 1? She'll be on at 1:30. Yeah, that's better.
Oh.
So once
You-
I'd explained it, they were fine and they were good. They were very good. But she had a great time, and we were sitting there, and because Amanda had to pretend she didn't know her, but Echo had already been on her radio show playing her piano, so she had to pretend she heard of her. So that was quite funny. And she was just an amazing duck. We did do a Guinness World Record attempt for the most tricks performed by a duck in a minute. And the criteria was crazy. I needed to get 2 people that officially use stopwatches. What? So I had a PE teacher and someone that does park run. I had to get brand new stopwatches that had never been used before to make sure they weren't tampered with, because I didn't have an adjudicator with me. It was in my premises. I had to pay for a vet to be there to check her over and watch her do it. He ended up filming her because he couldn't believe it. I had to have 3 people manning 3 different cameras, 2 normal and 1 in slow-mo, and 2 witnesses. So this was coming out of COVID. It was really hard to try and get all these people together at once. Got her there. She did it. She did everything. We have to fill in so much paperwork. You have to apply and say, this is what I want to do. And they can go, yeah, okay, we'll make that a category. Yeah, now you can pay to do it. A lot of payments. And she did everything she needed. And I got everyone to fill in their bits of paper. And I got all the videos sorted, sent it all off. It takes weeks and weeks. And they got back to me and they said, we're not going to accept it. 1, you didn't give us the list of tricks before you did the attempt, which I just misunderstood the paperwork. Brain. But also the judges were watching, because Echo could do the tricks without luring, they couldn't guarantee she wasn't just doing them, and it was because I'd asked for them. So they said they'd need her to do them again with me showing them. What? I guarantee she wasn't leg weaving, jumping through my arms, or playing a piano for the hell of it. It's because I'd said over, weave, touch, nose touch. But that's why they rejected it. And I was like, do you know what? I'm knackered. I paid so many people money to be there. It took so much organisation. And I never did it. And I wish if I'd known, hindsight, if I'd known Echo was going to get unwell, I would have done it again. But I didn't do it. I should have done. We did try.
Yeah.
Had to do one trick. There's not a record that's already been made, but she did 10. I didn't count 2 of them. So
It sounds like to me as well, going back to BGT and Simon, he was probably playing up to the cameras and audience and told to act that way.
Yeah,
but I'm just conscious of time, because I think you've got to shoot off somewhere. But let's start wrapping up then, because I think you have got to be somewhere. So in this hour, we've literally gone way over the hour. It's sailed by, but it's been really great. Having spent so much of your life living with, training and learning from different species, what do you think animals have taught you about yourself, the person you've become, and the way you run your business, Joe?
They have taught me so much about patience and slowing down and considering what I'm actually doing. And the more I work with different species and see and understand stress signals, for example, and I'm saying to, there's a big one that I remember with Taylor, which was, I'd not long read calming signals or something to a calming signals, right? Taurus rate.
Yes, yeah, Taurid, yeah.
And Taurus, that's a star sign. Taurid, that's the one.
Taurid Regos or something like that.
Yeah,
that's
it.
It's
Yeah,
a Norwegian name.
Yeah, wonderful lady. And I'd not long read that book about signals, and I was trying to get Taylor out the car. Don't know what I was doing, where I was, but I wanted to get him out, and for some reason he was messing about and he'd moved to the back. And normally I just go, come on then, and he jumps into my arms, and he didn't want to do it. So I'm going, Taylor, for God's sake, will you just get out? We're running late. I'm always running late. Come on, I'm running late. And he gave me the biggest yawn, big yawn, which before reading the book, I would have thought, that's a bit rude. But instead, I stopped in my tracks and thought, I've just stressed my dog out. He's given me the biggest calming signal he can.
Okay.
Great big, bigger yawn than I've ever seen him do. And it gave me a chance to just, okay, let me calm down. Take a breath. Taylor, come here, come do a nose touch. And he came straight over, did a nose touch, got a treat, we got out. That's just one of many examples. They teach so much about just be present in this moment. Stop racing about. Stop trying to get everything done at once. Don't achieve everything at once. Stop trying to make everything happen all at the same time. Enjoy. We've built a new aviary now, and we go in there and watch the canaries, the rescue canaries. We've got 2 zebra finch and we've got the quail, and we just watch them, and it's so nice. We've got a little waterfall. We hear the water, and you've got the birds making their noises, and
Lovely.
you can lose a few days in there, but it's so nice and it's peaceful. And then I go, oh God, I'm running late. But before that, I've had a chance to calm and just be present and just watch and just go, look at what they're enjoying. That one's in the water washing its bum. That one's eating something. That one's having a nap. That's having a dust bath. Look how happy they are. All the stuff. They don't need it right now. Some of them are waiting their turn to get to the food or whatever it is. But yeah, patience is the biggest thing. Patience, take your time and try and enjoy now. So when I'm running this and I'm thinking, I need to get all these things, I've even got a post-it note on the laptop. There's notes everywhere and I forget to look at them, which is very helpful. And I think, I do need to get that done. And then I'll think, actually, I haven't done anything with the dogs. Do you know what? This can wait. This can wait. It's just a bit of admin. I'm not sending it to anyone. It's just something I need to get done. It's the website or whatever. I'm going to go and do something with my dogs because they're awake and they're ready, and I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back and do this. Whereas I'd have thought, this needs doing. If I don't do it, I don't know, something will blow up perhaps. I need to get this done. Hang on, I'll come to you in a minute. And then the dogs are going, okay, we'll wait then, Shell. But they're all here asleep at the moment. All 3 dogs have been here that whole time just sleeping. They've had no walk today. They've done nothing. They're coming out later to work. They've done nothing. They know, oh, she's chatting to that screen again. So, be in the moment, be now. And if you just think, okay, I need to get something done, or I need to go and get the housework done, or I need to go out and do something, just stop. Take a few minutes with your dog or whatever your pet is. Do they like being groomed? Mine love being groomed. They're weird. Spend some time grooming them. It's actually really calming, really nice. Not so much when your dog hates it, but when they like it, it's quite nice. Massage. I've learnt massage, so it's not done properly. It's my version of it. My hands don't work very well. But it gives me a bit of bonding time with them, and they like it, and I like doing it. And it means I'm focusing on them. My phone isn't in my hands. I'm not on the computer. I'm just spending time with them, and it really makes a difference. But the more you want to do it, and then you start realizing, okay, I can automate that in my business. Maybe I can outsource that. Why am I trying to get my work done in the morning when my brain hasn't woken up? I'll do it later tonight when I'm awake, and it will take me a third of the time. Like things like that, they've taught me to try and
slow down, be present.
Yeah.
Dare I ask then, with everything that you're juggling, like the business and all these animals, do you prioritize any time for your own well-being, or was that like when you go into the aviary for 10 minutes? What do you do for your own well-being or not?
So my animals are my everything, and
they're your well-being.
This is going to sound weird. If I'm having a bad day, if I'm trying to do something, if I read an email that's just bewildering, I will go into the garden and do something with the dogs, go and look at the aviary, or, this is the weird bit, I will go and think I need to just go and clear out. I've got 3 chicken enclosures, different flocks. I've done 2, one needs doing. I'm going to go and clear out that chicken enclosure. And just being in there, they're wandering around my legs and chirping at me and chatting away and pecking at my tattoos. And I'm clearing up their poo. And it's just us and them. Again, I'm not on my phone. My brain, I get so many ideas for work while I'm picking up chicken poo.
I can imagine.
It's just us. No one can phone me. No one's emailing. If the front door goes, I can't hear it because I'm the other end of the garden. And it's just me and them. I do find that really grounding and really nice. But I do find breath work, meditation. I'm trained in Rahani, which is like Reiki, but a different level. So I do those sorts of things. And I used to a friend of mine runs something called Canine Flow, which is Caroline Griffiths.
I know Caroline.
Yeah.
I know Caroline.
And she created Canine Flow years ago. And a friend of mine I think she started it again with all the lockdowns, but she then carried it on for a few years. And she'd do once a month online a Canine Flow session. And what it is, it's kind of meditation for the owner and the dog. And of course, Echo, the duck, would be there as well. And you would be there and she'd get you you'd work on you first and then your dog. And you would do your breath work. And sometimes she'd bring in some of the tapping methods. Other times she'd just be talking through things and doing like a guided meditation. I can't do my own meditation. I just drift off. Oh yeah, I must get that done. So guided meditation is my go-to, and she'd guide you through that. And once you'd done that, my dogs were normally asleep by then. They'd hear Victoria's voice and go, oh, it's the lady that does the stuff. They're all asleep now. Then she'd do 20 minutes with the dogs and she'd count them down from 10 to 1. And if they were awake, and again, this includes Echo the duck and Ivy the chicken at one point, she lived with us for 3 months because she wasn't well. By the time she got to 1, counting down, they would all be asleep. It was so... And she'd count up at the end and they'd all wake up. It was just so weird, but brilliant.
Yeah.
Really nice. And again, it was nice to spend the time with my animals while doing something that was for me as well.
Yeah, that's good. So, yeah, I love that. Absolutely love that. Joe, where can our listeners or viewers find out more about you?
So my business name is Dog Training for Essex and Suffolk. That's Suffolk, SUFFOLK, not Sussex. It sounds similar. And so my website is dogtraining-essex-suffolk.co.uk. I'm on Instagram under Cass and Tay. Just to confuse everyone, it's Cassie and Taylor. So Cass Tay. I'm on Facebook on Dog Training for Essex and Suffolk, and I dabble on TikTok, but I don't dance, under Joe Nutkins Dog Training. I don't know why I've got so many names. I really should just choose one. But that's just over the many years.
I've got your Facebook and your website, but if you can send me any other handles you want me to put in the show notes, if you can just pop those over on Messenger, I will put them in the show notes along with your Facebook and your website details. But Joe Nutkins, thank you so much for joining me on the Pet Business Wellbeing Podcast. I've absolutely loved chatting with you today.
Thank you so much. It's been brilliant.
Thank you. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Pet Business Wellbeing Podcast. If you enjoyed today's chat, I'd love it if you could share this with a friend. Subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and please consider leaving me a review. It really helps me reach more pet professionals who need this kind of support. Until next time, take care of yourself, look after your well-being, and remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about building a business you actually enjoy being in. Before I wrap up on today's episode, I want to share some really exciting news. The Pet Business Wellbeing Circle Plus with me, Nathan Dunleavy, is now open, or fondly known as Circle Plus. So the Pet Pro Reset experience ended yesterday, and the Circle Plus is now open for people that want to join the membership. So you may be familiar with the Pet Business Wellbeing Circle on Facebook, which is my free community, and Circle Plus is an extension to that. So it's group mentoring, 2 monthly group mentoring sessions. There's going to be guest decks, a community which is separate and off of Facebook, monthly themes, and there's plenty of different resources. There's going to be replays of the recordings. So yeah, it's really exciting, and it's only open for a few more days. So it closes at midnight on Monday the 27th of July, and we've got some founding prices and bonuses available. So the founding price will only be available till midnight on Monday, and then the price will need to go up a little bit. I've purposely kept it low, hopefully so it's affordable for everyone. And then once the founding pricing ends at midnight on Monday, when I do another launch in the future, the price will need to go up a little bit. So there's 2 ways to join: monthly at £27 a month, or annually, which gives you 2 months free, along with some additional bonuses. So if you're paying monthly, it's £27. Whereas if you're paying annually, it's £270. And for my American friends, it roughly works out about $36 a month. and $360 for the annual membership. And for people in Europe, it's €32 or €316 for the annual membership. And like I say, there's founding bonuses available. The replays of the Pet Pro Reset experience will also only be available till midnight on Monday. I will be posting about it on social media over the weekend, and I've already sent out an email. We've already had founding members join from our soft launch, and we've also had new founding members join as part of this full public launch. So I'm really excited. So it's the Pet Business Wellbeing Circle Plus with me, Nathan Dunleavy, my new group mentoring membership, which is now live, or fondly also known as Circle Plus. And I'd love for you to come and join us. The platform I'm using for the community is on Heartbeat. So I've purposely done it off of Facebook because people are getting a bit fed up with Facebook. It's political, it's noisy, and groups are really struggling with engagement and interaction because of all the algorithms. And yeah, we're having a really great time over on Heartbeat. So do have a look at coming over to Circle Plus and seeing what it's all about. I'd love for you to be one of our founding members. And if you've watched the replays, or if you're going to watch the replays of the Pet Pro Reset experience, that will be back later on in the year. So do look out for that. And yeah, hopefully see you in Circle Plus very soon. And just a reminder of those things that you get: 2 live mentoring sessions a month. One will be on business and the other one will be on wellbeing, a private community away from Facebook, guest experts, a growing resource library, ongoing support, but more importantly than the features, it's about how I hope you'll feel when you're part of it. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and bye for now.